Cool. Welcome to the call. So this week, what I'm going to do is I'm doing like a series of like three calls, A, B, and C. Obviously, this week is A, and that is A for attitude and self-image. Obviously, I did put this out there that self-image is, I believe, the key. Because our outside world actually resembles our inside world. So that's what tonight's call going to be about. Attitude. It's big. It's genuinely everything. Money makers are note takers. The one who takes the most notes makes the most notes. I don't know how it works, but it's not my planet. So sit back, enjoy, and I hope that I bring you some value, man. So success is made in between the ears. Before we go straight any further, I need you to know that you need to stop looking outside of yourself for the answers. The answers are all within. Okay, like Bob says, you were born rich. The answers are within. Everything you need to know, even the word education draws from the word educo, which is draw from within, and we're drawing off an infinite source. That's why this infinite, you can't get enough of it. It's infinite. So success is made in between the ears. So if it is, who are you listening to? For those that don't know, that's Napoleon Hill on the left. That's Earl Nightingale, and that of course is Mr. Bob Proctor. So Napoleon Hill, he doesn't even need an introduction. The author of Think and Grow Rich, Created the Most Millionaires. He actually mentored Earl Nightingale. It was Earl Nightingale's audio, The Stranger's Secret, which really opened my eyes and changed my life, to be honest. And then, of course, that leads to Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor was found the book Think and Grow Rich. A guy called Ray Stanford gave Bob the book, and Bob followed it, read it every single day, changed his self-image, and of course changed his life, and then actually sold that multi-million-dollar cleaning business to go and work with Earl Nightingale, and spent the rest of his life, he became Earl Nightingale's top salesperson, selling the material, and then started his own company, called, now it's the Proctor Gallagher Institute. So who are you listening to? Obviously, for those that know that, myself and my network of people are connected with Bob's wife, Linda Proctor. So this information is not mine. It's information which I've learned, and it's something which I'm actively applying every single day into my life, and obviously right now this is me just sharing what I know, so I just need you to know that it's coming from a good source, and the results in my life, because I'm very conscious of who you listen to. It's the number one basis to success. So I'm very trying to let you know that my life has completely 10x'd in the last, since 2017-18, with regards to my health, my mindset, my wealth. For those that don't know my story, I'm 28 years old. I didn't get any grades in school. After school, I became a firefighter from 18 till 22, and then just got a standard job in a factory. And I got to the age of 26, and I saw that obviously that the world was changing very fast, and I wasn't changing. So I started to compare myself to others, and obviously comparison is a thief of all joy. And I started to get, very down, within myself, very anxious, down, depressed. It wasn't until I found The Secret and Earl Nightingale, like I just said, which completely changed my life. And just since that moment, I've just dedicated myself to learning more and more about this and implementing it in my life. When I went to actually meet Bob, he said, this is very interesting. He said, there's 100 people in the room. And he said, 98% of people in this room are never going to achieve their goals and dreams. And that really, really just blew my mind. So I made a committed decision there and then that I'm going to get myself in that 2% club no matter what it takes. I'm gonna get myself in that 2% club no matter what it takes. There's a reason why only 2%. Like Bob says, 2% people think, 3% think they think, and 95% of people would rather die than think. The 2% that think are, what they do is they do what I'm about to show you on this call. That's what they do. They only take advice from the people who are getting the results, and what they do is they don't just take it in. We've just been on a call with my mentor, and he said, one second, I need to get this up, because when he said it, I was like, wow. He said, listening informs us. Listening informs us. Learning forms us. And people get it mixed up. Learning, this is only the first part of knowledge. This is the first part of knowledge. Learning knowledge. This is learning knowledge. This is actually where 98% of people stay. This is where they stay. The next step is actually activity knowledge. Like Linda Proctor says, we learn best out in the field. We learn by taking it, but by taking action. Learning is actually the action. That's what actually forms us. Yes, okay, it's the repetition of information, but that's not enough. Self-awareness is created by movement, because if you believed, you're going to be moving. Belief, the word believe, it's actually a movement. It's not just a word. Like, you can't just tell me, yeah, I believe it, because it shows, like, people see what like Bob says, by the fruits you'll know them. If you're doing work, then you believe. That's proof that you believe. If you're not doing work, that you don't believe. So I made a committed decision, and it's paying off. So I'm grateful. So the first stage is learning knowledge. Write this down. These are 4 types of knowledge. Learning knowledge. This is learning knowledge. You come into the calls, you're reading the books every single day. You're committed to your growth. Number 2 is activity knowledge. I can tell you until I go blue in the face what to do. It's just you've actually got to go out and doing it. The biggest gap out there in the personal development world is the knowing and doing gap. And I'm hoping that for those that are, within the Facebook group, Bulletproof Mindset, a part of us, those that are on this call tonight, that you're going to be, you're going to bridge that gap and put yourself into the 2% club instantly by actually taking action on this knowledge. The third step is modeling knowledge. This is something which I'm still doing to this day. The second that I met my personal mentor, Mr. Darren Gibson, who's been mentored by Bob Proctor, I remember him speaking in front of, just a small room of people, and he was literally, he was like a mini version of Bob Proctor. He was implementing this information. He was modeling Bob Proctor, and since that day, I just started to model, the people around me who were getting the results. And modeling knowledge is actually when you're actually building off, like taking the best and leaving the rest of the people that are getting the results and implementing it into your own personal inner image, and then you acting out, and then you just creating that person that you need to become to attract the life you want. So, and then the fourth one is teaching knowledge. Obviously teaching only comes from after you've actually got some results and you've been modeling. So now what you are is now you're worth modeling. Now you're worth modeling. So now you can actually teach. But it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you score a goal, you can teach them how to score a goal. If you sell 2 products, you can show people how to sell 2 products. I can only show you how to build an organization of close to 1,000 people. Anything above that, I can't show you. I'm working towards it. I've got a certain amount of income, but I can't show you how to make any more yet. Until right now, it's a learning process. So I'm very honest and very open. So there's 4 stages. There's 4 types and there's 4 stages. Now, prior to this information, I was an unconscious incompetent. I didn't even know that I didn't even know. You can't escape from a prison if you don't know you're in one. It's hard enough just to escape from a prison, let alone not knowing you're even in one. Okay, so that's part 1. You're in a prison and you don't even know you're in a prison. This is like before. I didn't even know that I don't even know that I can't drive. I don't even know that I can't. I'm going to expand the reason for the picture. The next one is conscious incompetent. I'm aware that I can't drive. I'm aware that I can't do a certain thing. I'm aware that I'm not living the life I wanted to live. The second that I started to listen to Elle Nightingale, boom, I was very conscious incompetent. I was like, oh my God, I know for a fact that I've been cracked. First of all, I've created the life I've got. Second, I know I'm not living the life I want. And I don't even know what to do next, because books are great, audios are great, but the books they don't tell you the next step. They don't tell you what habits to get rid of. They don't tell you what you've got to sacrifice. They don't know your family's name. They don't know your why. So that's where I was at with that one. Then you become a conscious competent. This is when you meet your mentor, and your mentor saying, do this. I recommend doing this 3-4 times a week. I recommend reading this book. I recommend saying it this sort of way. Don't wear that top. Look a bit smarter. Show up a bit earlier. And what you're doing is you're conscious competent. The reason I'm going to go to the whole driving scene is because you know what it's like when you start to drive a car. You're really thinking about it. You can't really look left, can't really look right. You can't really look at your phone. You're like, oh my God, I got to change. Okay, you listen to the engine. I got to change gear now. You're a conscious competent, so you can drive, but it's a lot of mental energy. And then the next one, it goes down to unconscious competent. Now, obviously, the guy there, look, he's texting whilst driving. This is not something I tell you to do. I'm just giving you a visual to see what it sort of looks like. So what happens is then, this is when you're doing presentations, you're going about your business and you're getting results, but it's like it's become a habit, and a habit is something we do unconsciously. The habit it's how you brush your teeth, what hand you brush your teeth with. It's you know, what trouser leg you put in first, what your routines. It's something we do. It's something we do habitually. So these are the 4 stages of knowledge. This is important to know. This is just what this is doing is just raising your level of awareness, because you can sort of get a gauge of where you're at. So let's get into it. Imagination. Imagination. You can't change the things you see with your eyes until you change the things you see in your imagination. I love what Les Brown said. He said, Les Brown said, making $1 million was the easiest thing I ever did. Believing and seeing that I could make $1 million was the hardest thing I ever did. It actually says in the Science of Getting Rich that thinking is the most laborious thing. That's why most people don't know how to do it. There's a story of a guy who owned a farm, and he hired this guy to come and work for him, and he said, can you paint 100 fence panels today, please? You got 8 hours to do it. There you go. And he come back with 6 hours in and say, look, I'm finished. You make amazing. You can go home early. The next day, he said, can you put 100 wheels on these wheelbarrows, please? You got 8 hours to do it. Go 6 hours in. You've done it again. Boom. It's amazing. He's working hard, man. He's a good worker. Then the third day, he come into the farm and he said, there's 3 buckets there. I'd like you to sort potatoes, ones that we can eat, ones that we can sell, and then ones that we can throw away. Within 4 hours, he quit. Why? Easier work. He's just sitting down on his bum, yeah, and he's picking potatoes. He's picking potatoes. When the last previous days, he's working out there. He's sweating. But guess why he quit? Because the third day he needed him to think. He was making decisions, left, right, and centre, all day, every day. He couldn't even handle 4 hours of it. Okay, so that's just but the other days he would just go because he wasn't thinking, he was just working. So the book's called Think and Grow Rich, not Work Hard and Grow Rich. You need to start thinking, but guess what? It's gonna be a challenge. That's why Bob says to write your goal out on a card and carry it with you every day and constantly remind yourself of it, because it's like this little goal card here is like my little accountability partner. It's so easy to drop into our habitual way of thinking. But if thoughts become things, you need to change our thoughts. So you need to constantly be reminding yourself and tapping yourself in line. Where am I going? What's my goal? Where am I going? I can't think that if that's my goal. So you need to, the first thing I want you to do is really just be aware that you cannot change your outside world and until you change what you see within. And it's the amount of times and how often you see that and you live it out as if it's already happened with the attitude of expectation, that it's actually going to start to manifest. Expectation, right? I love that word. Expectation is when you're already grateful for what is about to happen. You're actually expecting it to happen. So if you expect to win, you're going to be happy now. Do you agree? Like you're going to be happy now because you're expecting to win. So you need to live a life in expectation that this information, this is not my information. Like believe it works sooner, faster than I did. This information works, so that when you see it, I need you to understand when you walk out the house tomorrow morning, that you have to actually be your goal, and it's going to start to manifest. It's the people that quit and stop and then point fingers at the information saying it doesn't work. I tried it for a day, I tried it for a week, whatever. I've been doing this for two years. I'm still a baby, but 2 years straight, you know. So attitude is everything. Literally everything. Attitude is, what it is it's our thoughts that determines how we feel, that determines how we act. Our actions repeated are our habits. Habits are something we do without giving any thought to it. And then that is what leads to results. Okay, so our thoughts, you need to know where our thoughts come from. So because if thoughts are so powerful, where do our thoughts come from? I believe they come from 3 sources. Number 1, our 5 senses. Our 5 senses. We can hear, see, smell, taste, and touch. When we hear something, it evokes a thought. When we smell something, it evokes a thought. When we touch something, it evokes a thought. Vision boards, goal cards. We become what we think about. We become what we ink about. I said this on a call the other day. We become what we ink about. The word ink is in think. What are you writing about? We become that. So That's the number one, 5 senses. Number two, it comes from whatever you believe in, God, universe, the higher power. That's number two. It comes from the universe. This is when you're reading your goal out over and over and over and over and over, and you're writing out your self-image, you're writing out what you're grateful for, what you're expecting over and over. What's going to start to happen is you're going to start to get, when you're not even thinking about it, whatever, which you should be thinking about all the time anyway, but when you're just deep in activity, you're going to have an idea. It's going to come to you, and you're going to instantly know whether that idea is going to take you closer to your goals or away from. Like, I had an idea to do this call, and I'm thinking, do you know what? I don't know who's going to jump on. I don't know who's going to hear it and run with it. But it's not my duty to do that. I'm just going to act on the information, because when you ignore that voice, the voice gets quieter, because it's like, oh, I keep telling you, Jake, I keep telling you, Sade, to do this, but you know what? Now what happens is the other voice, number three, the enemy, gets louder. The enemy is called the inner me. Inner me, that's what tonight's called all about, the inner me. Okay, inner me. What happens if you've got the inner me on your side? That's exciting now. You've got the inner me on your side. That's what we're going to talk about. You need to ingrain and change the inner me, because up until this information, I was broke, busted, and disgusted. I was down and depressed. So the inner me, the enemy, was a lot stronger than, a couple podcasts, a couple books, a couple of these calls. You know what I mean? So you need to know what you want and what. Like, I'll give you an example, a simple one. So you set a goal to lose some weight. The enemy is going to say, don't go gym. The enemy is going to say, stay in bed. The enemy is going to say, eat that cookie. Okay. But you also know for a fact, the second that you think that, you've got another thought instantly coming, and you know for a fact that you shouldn't do that. That I shouldn't do that. That's because that's the goal. Whereas if this is not in front of you all day, you're not even going to get that voice. It's just like, yeah, right, eat the cookie. Why not? I ain't got a goal, so why not? Okay. Negative attitude, positive attitude. If you've got a positive attitude, you're going to have a positive outcome. You've got a negative attitude, you're going to have a negative outcome. Fact. Simple, pretty basic. This is all basic stuff, man. I'm trying to break it down as simple as possible. So what are you attracting? Our attitude and inner self-image is a magnet to the world. That's what it is. What you're doing is you're creating a magnet. We attract who we are inside. And the bigger the goal, the bigger the vision, the bigger the magnet. The more you focus on it, the bigger it, the more stronger it comes. The more you read it, the more stronger it comes. The more actions you take on your goals and dreams that's in line with it, when no one can see you, what you do in private will be shown in public. Whatever the actions that you take, it strengthens the magnet. And that's what, now what you're doing is you're controlling the flow. You're controlling the flow because you're in the flow of taking action on your goals and dreams, following the instructions from your mentors, reading the books, plugging into these calls, sacrificing. We're going to talk about that in a second. But what are you attracting? What have you attracted up to now? What are your results like now? I think that's the next one. Who are you today? And who are you becoming tomorrow? Who are you today? Let's have a little self-inventory of who we are. What have we done last week? What have we done in 2020 so far? What was 2019 like? What was 2018 like? Okay, cool. So 2019 was like this. Who was I around in 2019? Who was I listening to in 2019? How often was I taking action? Was I consistent? Was I disciplined? You've got to do something different to get different results. So just that's why I give up meat, because I'm thinking, do you know what? In 2019, I ate meat. I'm gonna switch it up, because if I switch something up over here, sacrifice something over here, something over here has to come. I don't even know what it is yet. But that's what happens. It's like a scale. The more you sacrifice, I know what Darren said in the last call. He said we can fully control what we sacrifice. We've got no control of what comes in. But if we understand this information, as you so shall you reap, that should get you excited. So I love sacrificing. I don't even see it as sacrifice. Like I said, someone asked me a call the other day about how do I balance this and that. And I said, it depends how fast you want to grow. It just depends how fast you want to grow. I want to grow fast. That's why I don't miss any of these calls. That's why I just take action. That's why I just completely cut off my old environment. That's why I see my family on occasions. You know, I haven't got any children, anything like that. But like I said on the call the other day, if I did have a baby, it'd be strapped to my chest right now and we'd be going through these slides, you know. So that's just the truth. So what is my vision for the future? I want you to actually solve these questions. What is my vision for the future? If you got no vision, you've got no motivation. No one's lacking motivation; they're lacking vision. They're lacking imagination. So what is my vision for the future? Where there's no vision, the people will perish. If you're a leader, cast the vision out to your team. What we just said with bulletproof mindset? You know, we're looking to change the lives of 2,020 people. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing collectively. What do I really want? What do I really want? Am I willing to pay? Am I willing to pay the price for the promise? And am I willing to pay now? I'm talking like right now. You know, for those that work with me know that I'm willing to sacrifice whatever I'm doing right now because that's just how it is. Because I understand this information right now. And I'm like, I don't care if, you know, I get the people around me don't understand sometimes. It's okay. It's okay. You know, they will understand one day. So it's like, are you willing to pay the price now? If you can't answer that bottom question, yes, the other three doesn't matter. I'll be honest. So, a bit of homework. Write out in present tense the life you desire. I am so happy and grateful now that I am, boom. What is your life? Where are you living? Who's around you? How much money are you making? Where are you making money from? How are you making money? What do you look like? What are you doing with your days? If you're financially free, you're not working. What are you doing? What are you doing? You know, because for those that work 8-9 hours a day, 10 hours if you're commuting, that's a big chunk of your day. What are you doing? You're going to really get to know yourself. Write out the person you need to become to achieve that. What habits have you got? What's your perception? Do you think that's expensive? Would you shop at in this store? Would you go for coffee there? Would you go and sit in that car? Would you plug into these calls? Would you sacrifice going to the pub instead of, you know, would you still be playing Sunday League football? These are the questions I was asking myself. I'm just talking myself. Would you still be playing Sunday League football? Would you still be playing FIFA for 2-3 hours a day? Would you still be, no. Would you be eating rubbish food? Would you not be going to the gym consistently? You know, would you not be, you know, leading people? Like that's, so you've got to really write out the person. Like actually close your eyes, go into the future and like imagine sitting imagine sitting where you're sitting right now and just open your eyes and you are that person. Who are you? That's what you need to do. And then I want you to act as if today. And don't worry and give a damn what anyone thinks about you, man. That's why the environment's so important because we're here to support. We're here to yeah, man, let's do it. And I want you to share your experiences as well. Like share your experiences. Oh, 2 seconds. So act as if today. Next week, it's going to be B, and we're going to talk about believing, which is an amazing subject. So, you know, a nice and short call. Like I said, you know, it's 20-25 minutes. I'm not gonna be on here for hours. But I hope that you learn something. You know, put some ones in the chat if you learn something. Also, any questions? Any questions? I'll take 2 questions. Anybody? This is a very safe environment. Whoa. Okay, cool. We'll leave it there. What's that? What we got? How do you make your emotion? How do you make sure your emotions aren't controlling your emotions? Love it. So what feeling? The word feeling is a word that we made up. But what it really is we're consciously aware of the vibration we're in. So how do you feel? How do you feel? I don't recommend doing anything if you're in a negative vibration. Like I said about the negative attitude, positive attitude. If you go into something with a negative vibration, you're going to have a negative outcome. You know, there's been times when I was meant to like maybe ring someone in my business, but like, you know, I wasn't feeling the best. So I had to like have a little moment of just like, you know, what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. But, you know, getting my vision. Oh, wow, there's so many people worse off right now. I'm grateful to even feel bad. I'm grateful to even have feelings. I heard that today on a podcast. I was like, well, that's gratitude on a whole nother level. I'm grateful for that. Then I'm gonna, okay, so I'm fired up, and then I'm gonna be, you know, then I'll take action. That's why it's so important to feel yourself before you leave the house. You got to make it's your job. It's personal development. It's personal development. But I'm an emotional person as well, Darren. You know, my mentor Darren, when you know he slaps me sometimes. I've never done well with people telling me what to do. You know what I mean? So like sometimes I lash back. I'm like, I was like, no, that's deep. You know, you're wrong. And he was like, put your tissues away. And I'm like, you know, I know he's right. You know, I'm just like, I respect his results. He doesn't even care if I like him, but I respect his, you know, I respect his results. So he's not a clown. You know, he's not a clown. He's there to, you know, he's there to help me out. What was your biggest difficulty when you shifting your mindset? What steps you? I think always the biggest difficulty is that inner me. It's that voice in it. It's just because it would do. Your paradigm is the best salesman. The paradigm is, you know, is an amazing salesperson. It will do whatever it takes to keep you where you're at, man. So you just got to just be consciously aware of those 5 senses and what you're doing every single day. You know, read it. Consistency. You just got to be consistent. But yeah, it's. I tell you what, though, it's all about your environment. You know, there's people at the office, and you know, they do like, oh, you know, I'm trying to lose weight, I'm being healthy and stuff like that. And then someone will walk in with like a full English breakfast, and they're all like, oh, that smells good. Oh, I wish I could have that. Environment. Whereas, you know, I said to a guy earlier in the gym when I was prospecting, right? I said, he was like, so what is it you do? You know, what is it you do? I said, bro, look, if I hung around you, this guy was in great shape. I said, if I hung around you for 6 days, yeah, on the 7th day, I'm going to go to the gym, man. I'm going to the gym. I said the same thing. If you hung around me for 6 days, yeah, on the 7th day, you're going to be making money, man. You're going to be making money. So it's not what you do, it's who you do it with. Like, you become a product of your environment, man. I said, I don't care if people believe in me or not, but I was like, bro, you just keep following me on social media and watch what happens. So it's all environment, man. Like, that's why it's so important. It's the number one. It's the number one important. You just keep that, stick to that, and be consciously aware of who you're talking to. That's why experience isn't the greatest teacher. Analyze experiences. What results have I got this week? Who have I been talking to this week? Who have been hanging around this week? Okay, I'm going to see that person less this week. I might ignore that phone call this week. You know what I mean? Like, you need to start doing that, because if you just do the same things, you are going to get the same results. Okay, cool. That's bang on half an hour. Hope you enjoyed it. I love you all. And if you want to join the Bulletproof Mindset Facebook group, search on Facebook, join it, and I'll accept you. All right. See you later. I'm also recording this as well, so if you want it, let me know. See you later.